Hey, what's up? This is your girl, Taylor Wilde. Welcome back to Wilde On Season 5, the podcast where you get the insider's view of the weird, wild world of wrestling and witchcraft. On Wednesdays, today's guest is a Jill of all trades. She's a singer, actress, model, and our favorite, professional wrestler. She grew up in Australia, where she spent her formative years in rock and roll bands. You may actually recognize her from her viral music video, Put a Spell on You, with WWE's Shotzi Blackheart and Sister Witch, Scarlett. She also happens to be partners with WWE's own Zian Quinn. She is a true passionate star on the rise, and she recently made her AEW debut this past summer. Ladies and gentlemen, my girl, Harley Cameron. Okay, so you have had a really incredible career. Like, you are a Jill of all trades. You're a singer, you're a wrestler, you're a model, you're an actor. What came first?
The first thing definitely was music, for sure. In high school, definitely kind of where I found myself, I guess, as a person. I had a really awesome music teacher, and I remember I think I was about 12 or so, and I used to watch Australian Idol at home with my parents, and I used to, in the commercial breaks, go run into my room and sing it in the mirror and be like, it. And my parents were like, no, you're not very good. And then in high school, my music class and my teacher was like, you can sing really well. And I was like, I've been trying to tell my parents I want to sing. And he really pushed me into it. And then I, joined a band when I was 13, a rock band. And
no way.
Yeah. We did predominantly, it was Paramore, Fall Out Boy, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Guns N' Roses, and we just started playing. A little 13-year-old crew used to play wherever we could, and then my parents heard me sing, and they're like, "Oh crap, you actually can sing!"
Oh, you're like, "Thanks, mom and dad."
Yeah. I was like, they were very much just you need to get a real job, and they were very hard on academics and stuff. So it wasn't until after high school and I went and got a real job. But my boss heard me sing one day and literally was like, your voice is so good. You need to go to this audition for this theater thing I found. And I was like, I'm not doing it. And he's like, if you don't audition for it, I'm like, you're not getting promoted here. So he literally forced me to go to that audition, and I got the role, and I've just been in music. That's where it all started anyway, where it became my full-time job was music. Yeah, so that's how it began. So God, I was like, I didn't even expect all that to come out of my mouth just then. It came out like word vomit.
I'm very impressed. So then, okay, so you started with singing. You had obviously very grounded, supportive parents that wanted you to get an education, have a real job. Then where did professional wrestling come in?
I mean, I'm sure most of us have the same backstory as, growing up. I still, have vivid memories of my brother and I watching it growing up. And coming from Australia, you don't ever think really that it's in arm's reach, I guess.
Sure.
And then, I had a career in entertainment for so long in Australia, and it was going well. It was always a dream to come to America, but I never thought about possibility of wrestling, and it's something you watch on TV, and it's just like Hollywood. You're just like, oh, it's so cool, but I'm in Australia.
Of course.
And my partner got signed with WWE, so we moved together. We decided to move over here together. And it's funny because the moment that I started dating him and I knew that he was wrestling, the light bulb kind of came on for me, but I didn't explore it immediately just because I was like, okay, it's his thing. But everyone was like, oh my God, Danielle, you should do it. Your background is athletics and your background's entertainment, and that you're going to the country where this can happen now. And I was kind of like, oh crap, maybe this could happen. And it took a while, but then I finally got the courage to be like, I want to do this too,
Good for you.
Yeah, we came over, and then he was immersed in it, and then my life just became wrestling.
Well, he was professional rugby, is that correct?
Yeah, he played professional rugby for 10 years actually. So
wow.
He was scouted at a really young age. I think he was on TV. rugby leagues, I know not massive in America, but in Australia, it's everything. It's like one of our biggest things. And he was playing professionally. I think at 17, he was like on TV in like the A leagues kind of thing.
Oh, wow. That's really young.
Yeah, and then when I met him, he'd just done 10 years and he was just retiring when I met him and we started dating. But I had no desire to date a football player when I met him and he said he played football. I was like, ugh, no.
Now, I wonder then, is a rugby player in Australia the equivalent of like an NHL hockey player to Toronto? Because those guys to me is exactly the same. I'm like, ugh, no, no, thank you. Gross.
It is literally that. I was like, the thought of being a footballer's girlfriend, no discredit to those who do, just
No, it's different people.
there's just like I guess it's a bad stereotype, but it is kind of common, just, that whole athlete's girlfriend scene. I just wasn't
100%.
about it.
We call them puck bunnies. What's the equivalent?
Oh God, what do you call them back home? I have no idea. The poor chicks at home who have to deal with it.
Touche. Build up the women, not the men. Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. It's just like a boys' club, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure to be similar with hockey. But yeah, I met him and he was like, I'm retiring though, and I'm going to be a wrestler. And I was like, oh, well, we can date. That works. I like wrestling. Wrestling's cool.
That's really funny. Because that's kind of my line now, whereas I'm a firefighter full time. When I left professional wrestling when I was 25, that's when I retired. So I understand your partners wanting to retire young, have another career. Oh, thank you. But every major career I get into that's, full on immersive, I always say, nope, not going to date that. Not going to date a wrestler. Nope, not going to date a firefighter. And you end up doing it. And it's just,
No, I get it. Yeah, 100%. That's so cool that you do that. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. I do love it, and it's really part of my journey, and
Yeah.
I'm really happy to be back into wrestling. I went through a divorce during COVID, like joined the club, who didn't? After my divorce and having been a firefighter I'm in my 9th year now, I was lucky enough that I had opportunities to go back to major wrestling companies, and it was so much a piece of myself that I guess I had muted for so long, and going back as a healed woman who knows who she is and has boundaries in wrestling, I'm having so much more fun and feel so much more in my power at 37 than I ever could have at 27.
Yeah. Wait, you're 37?
Yeah.
Girl, you look amazing. You're drinking the youth elixir every day or something. Crap. That's amazing. Holy crap.
Thank you. It's just witchcraft. It's fine.
So yeah, give me some of that.
And now you're by.
How I found you originally was your music video with Shotzi and Scarlett, which was so sexy.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that was so fun. They're like two of my best friends and I love them. And I know you are a fan of like everything spooky, Halloween, and so are we. We actually released a song almost 2 years now ago, like an original, and it was so fun. And we kind of always wanted to do another one, and we were like, oh, we have to do something for Halloween.
Oh, cool.
We knew Hocus Pocus 2 was coming out, and that song was so popular in the first film, and I was like, what if we made like a badass rock version of it? Because it's really fun and like musical theater. Yeah, but I was like, everything's better rock, so we need to do this.
It's such a good vibe. And I think the smart thing on your part, like, I don't know what the backstory is, but the fact that those are your girls, but the fact that it was affiliated by WWE, you probably had like a whole whirlwind of, is she signed? Is she not signed? Is she smart?
We're really thankful because WWE was just so supportive and back, like getting behind it. And they, they helped with release. They put on their page, everything like that. Their whole music department and everyone was like just so great. And not saying that it's not been like that in the past. It's just that it was a nice surprise because, as you know, with like companies such as that, it's very rare for them to bring in people external who aren't under contract or who,
It's unheard of.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like shocked. I was like, whoa, but very
Yeah.
grateful, and it was awesome. Yeah. So thank you, WWE.
Yeah. No, and I think it's a testament truly to your talent as a performer. Like, you have two signed talent in the video, but like you said, it was a very interesting opportunity and not one I've really seen WWE do in the past. So I really hope that that momentum continues for you. It feels great.
Yeah, no, things are going good. I'm very blessed, happy.
Good. Now, obviously, you moved to America because your partner was signed.
Yeah.
How has that transition been for you? Was it something you may have done on your own had it not been for your partner?
I always wanted to come to America. Always, always.
Okay.
I don't think I'm sure, would probably, I could be wrong, but I'm assuming have an idea of how hard it is to come to America
Oh,
and to legally stay and to get the requirements that you have to have, like with visas, green cards, everything like that. It is so ridiculously difficult to come over here that I just truly didn't think it was like a dream. Like you don't there's not many Aussies here working in this
yes.
industry doing like when you really think about it, it's really hard because the criteria to come here and work, especially in entertainment, is very difficult. Like the application is like this thick. Like
Yep.
it's yeah. So I still pinch myself. I can't believe it's happening, but
Yay.
I'm just so happy.
So pleased. Now, are you working with wrestling now as much as you are with singing and acting and modeling? Like, are you just juggling all the things all the time?
My passion right now, my heart, where everything is wrestling.
Okay.
I've been a professional singer so for most of my adult life now, and that's my job. I haven't had to have work besides such. It's become something that I still love doing. I'll always have a passion to, but I don't get the feeling I do
Mm.
singing in front of a stadium of 20, 30,000 people as I do even just going out and wrestling on an indie show. So I think that I still love music, obviously, and I love modeling, and I'm definitely pursuing acting in a greater depth now that I'm in America. But
Yeah.
the thing that gives me that adrenaline, that fire, and that passion is wrestling.
Oh, I get it, girl, because I
Yeah.
walked away from it for so long and I thought, never again. I'm done. But there is no high like you get from wrestling. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the thing is too, people, like I've had amazing opportunities in music here, and I'm an opportunist in respect of, I like to stay busy, and if something happens and it sounds good, I go with it in respect of different avenues of my career. But my like zone in right now is on
Yeah.
wrestling. But if something comes up, I've got a few gigs actually in music in the next month that I'm
Oh, cool.
traveling for, and I'll always say yes to stuff when it's they are. But it's like, so I'm so excited to just be in the ring, and I don't care if it's in front of 10 people or 100 people or on TV. Like it's just, I'm so happy, and I think
Yeah.
that's the key, is to do what makes you happy.
100%. And I think it's interesting now, it is way more commonplace for wrestling couples to be out in the world publicly, where when I started wrestling a million years ago, when I was 17, 18 years old, 2005 sort of thing, it was really shunned upon for you to date. And I just think it's we're in such a cool place now where we're just in a world of more acceptance. Now, is your partner a good training partner for wrestling, or you try to keep it separate? Because I know in the past I've seen couples fight like cats and dogs when it comes to wrestling, but in life they're amazing partners.
It's funny because we've never been in a ring together ever.
Oh, good. I think that's good.
I also feel like, and this is not just wrestling, I think if you have a commonality with a partner, you can take offense with criticism in a different level that you ever would if it were a friend or a coach or anything in that regard.
Yeah.
So we watch each other's stuff all the time and everything, but I think we're just cautious with feedback in the regard of, let's keep our careers, and our separate. We're like a couple obviously together, but I feel like there's just this different world you go into when it comes to critiquing each other if you're in the same industry. So we've always kind of, been involved in each other's lives, but also at an arm's length, kind of like let each other do our thing, because the last thing you want is to take offense to some critique because you're like, you shouldn't say that, you're my partner, so we're definitely involved in each other's lives, but we kind of don't go in depth with opinion, if that makes sense.
Oh, 100%. And I think that's actually very emotionally mature and very self-aware of you, because it's so hard to not take it personally from your partner.
Yeah, you could say something like, just give me some feedback on a move or something, or the way I delivered something, and I'd be like, yes, okay, yeah. Daniel says it, I'm like, yeah. Like,
It's so true.
my heart, yeah.
It's human nature, though, isn't it? You should
It
always
is.
keep personal life and business separate, no matter how good you are. Because, like you said, you're just going to be like, oh, you hate me.
Yeah, I learned it from when I would write music and I'd show him my demo, like the demos of stuff I was progressively writing, because I composed quite a bit. And I'd show him and he'd give me his opinion, and I'd be like, well, you don't even know music. You don't write music. Like, I'm not listening. And he'd be like, why did you ask me? I gave you an answer that you did not enjoy, and now you've got the shits. So like I kind of recognized that in myself early, and I was like, oh, he's right. It's only because he's so close to home that I'm taking offense. So
100%. Because really what you wanted to say is, baby, I love you. Tell
Yeah.
me how good of a job I did.
Tell me how good this is.
Yeah. Tell me I'm pretty and then bring me a snack. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah. So to answer your question in a million words, we share things, but we also keep things up to a degree apart that we think's appropriate.
Good. So
Yeah.
you touched on the fact that you like spooky, you like hard rock, which these are things I love about you. Do you have any spiritual practices? Do you meditate? Do you like any intuition practices like tarot or using a pendulum, anything like that?
I am very myself with self practice. I'm not very good at it, but I am infatuated with it, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I'm an energizer bunny. I'm sure you can tell from me being like, meditation for me is ridiculously difficult because I can't close my eyes. My brain is a million places at once at all times.
Get it.
But I'm infatuated recently so much with numerology, especially, and that side of things. So I very much delve into that, and also too, like, Shotzi, Scarlett, two of my best friends, like they're very into it, and I kind of like, they're so insightful with like things like that, and I'm always asking them questions, and I'm so interested in it, but I wish I knew more about it. One of my mom's best friends, she does tarot, and she has like visions and things like that.
So she's an intuitive medium psychic.
I
Yeah.
think that's the right words. Yeah. And she's everything she has said about me has come true, and it's to a point where I'm like blown away that I 100% know it's there. I just love meeting people that can provide that level that I can't achieve. You know what I mean? I don't have
Sure.
it in me myself, but I love meeting people and discussing it, and I'm always like looking up my charts and everything like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm very, very into it. My friend got me hooked on numerology a while ago, and I'm like obsessed now. And I'm always like, "What's your life path number?"
Well, I know a lot about birth charts, and I know a lot about tarot, and I know about angel numbers, but I don't know a lot specifically about numerology. So what is your life chart number? Maybe you can teach me something.
Yes, well, forgiveness in
path.
advance if I get this wrong, but this is how I understand it. So I understand that you have your star signs, which are your characteristic traits. And this is a very terrible explanation. I'll try my best. So, essentially, for example, I'm Capricorn.
Do you know what your moon is and your rising?
I'm Aries rising.
Oh, so you crazy girl.
It's funny. This is what hooked me on it when I found, because I always read about Capricorns. I'm like, this sounds boring. This isn't me. And then, then I got told, yeah, well, that's what you are to your core, but the world perceives you as this. And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes way more sense.
Isn't it? It's crazy.
So crazy. Because it's true. I'm like, I am a Capricorn deep down, because I'm very like organized, achieve. achieved business on time, but like then I'm like,
Totally get it. And then do you know what your moon is? Because that's what you present as in relationship.
Capricorn moon.
Oh, Capricorn moon. So you're a Capricorn sun, Capricorn moon, and
Yes, Aries rising.
Oh, you're like me. You're a double trouble girl.
What are you?
I'm an Aquarius sun and yes, and a Leo moon and a Leo rising. So I'm the same. I'm just like, ah!
Yeah.
look at me.
Exactly.
But if you try to bring your feelings too close to me, goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah. From what I understand, your life path number is kind of like where you are in the journey of your experience. So if you look up, I think it's 1 to 11. I could be wrong here, but essentially your life path number is more or less off that, the date, time, this location you're born. It's more specific, and it kind of tells you you could be a Capricorn and Aries rising, and this is your personality trait, but this is, as that personality, this is your experience, and this is going to be your journey. You know what I mean? So it's cool. When I looked into it, when I read it, the thing that makes it cool is when you read it, you're like, it resides with you, and then you're like, this is accurate. But then if I were to read it for, my partner, it wouldn't make sense.
Right.
Look up his, and I'd read his and be like, this ain't me, but it's definitely you.
It's totally how open you are and your perception and your energy like translating into it. Oh, I get it. I'm gonna look mine up and then I'll let you know what mine is after this.
Let me know what you are. I get so excited. It's usually one of those things when I meet new people and you share too much. I'm like, hey, do you want to know your life? Huh?
This is where you and I and Shotzi and Scarlett all get along, because you suck at small talk and you're like, tell me your life trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the most traumatic thing you can remember as a child? Yeah. Let's discuss it.
And then you're like, oh, I think we just became best friends. I'm so happy.
Yeah, exactly. The cool thing is our minds might be all over the place, but it's just that creative spark that a lot of people don't have. My Daniel, my partner, he always says to me, he's like, I just want to be inside your brain for one day. He's like, because it sounds so fun.
I'm like, no, you don't. It's terrifying.
Especially in, the wrestling business, where we're all misfits in a way, and we're all creative and we're all unique. And that's why there's something so unique and cool about it, because there's so many different personalities, but we have something in common that all made us, passionate about the same thing.
Well, you said the operative word in wrestling to me is misfits, because we all fit in wrestling, and within minutes we can usually all fall in love with each other in some capacity. And it's that one thing that bonds us together is wrestling, because it's so weird. It's so niche. You can't just, be walking down the street and see, oh, professional wrestling school. Maybe I'll try that.
Definitely.
We all end up here because the universe put us here to be together. No other way, because it's too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't even make sense how we all got here, but we are.
I know. Here we are.
Glad we are.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do my top 10 tailor-made questions. It is not a speed round, so don't feel rushed.
Okay.
What? I'm starting dark. What is your funeral song, and what does your ceremony look like?
What is my funeral song? Oh my God, I love this. Can I just give me a second? I need to zone in.
Totally.
Oh gosh. I reckon it's Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, I love it.
I feel like it's just a summary of my life. It's got it calm and then exciting and then crazy and it doesn't make sense and then you feel weird but good. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a journey.
Oh, the part I love about one, I love Bohemian Rhapsody. Let's start there. But two is how indulgent it is, because everyone's got to sit there, play your funeral song. It's like 12 minutes of insanity.
Yes. I'm going out with a bang. And I also want everyone to just be you can't not sing to that. So I want people to have a good time there. Yeah, definitely.
It's got to be the part of Wade's World, when there's the big breakdown, everyone has to be headbanging. I love this for you.
Yes. Can I actually tell you a really quick funny side story, because you made me think of it?
100%.
So my father, he passed away a few years ago. He had cancer, terminal cancer.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you. And I had to plan his funeral, and it's not easy at any age planning your funeral, but especially in your early 20s. So I was like, crap, I'm, planning a funeral and I have no idea what I'm doing. And I remember the coroner was like, can you put a list of some of your dad's like songs out, like favorite songs? And I didn't realize they were going to get played like at the funeral. So my dad's favorite song was this song called Absolutely Everybody by Vanessa Amorosi. And it's like this like pumped up, feel good, like absolutely everybody. It's like imagine like Rio de Janeiro like meets Mardi Gras kind of vibe. Okay, so they're carrying my dad's there like in the thing, and I've done the speech, and it's this sad moment, and then all of a sudden this like banger starts playing, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't know this was for this.
I mean, I think you chose right.
Right. He did say he wanted like everyone to be happy. So I was like, I know he was looking down and he was like, yeah, you nailed this.
See, and you know what? That's all you needed. You were like probably panicking. Everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? But in your soul, you're like, he loves it.
Yeah, I was like, he likes it. Like everyone else here feels really uncomfortable, but he likes it.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that story and having a mutual dark sense of humor.
Yeah, I know. I definitely dark sense. You got to laugh at everything, I think.
Life is too short. It's too messy. It's too complicated. You
Yeah.
have to laugh.
That's
You
right.
have to laugh, or what's the point? Truly. Okay, if you could choose 3 characteristics that would make up the perfect zodiac sign. So this is a fictitious zodiac sign.
Okay.
What are the 3 characteristics that would make a perfect person zodiac sign?
Empathetic, adventurous, and loving.
Those are really good ones. Perfect. You nailed it. Everyone gets really trumped on this. They all of a sudden forget what characteristics they like in people. And it makes me think they probably haven't done a deep dive into what's important to them.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I think above everything that those 3 are good human characteristics.
Yes. Do you have a supernatural power?
Supernatural power? Gosh.
Like the ability to read people within a few minutes, or
I do think that I will say though I have been wrong, because I'm very I like to see the best in everyone when I meet them.
Mhm.
But I do have I'm sure we all have like that internal like little radar that's kind of like I can pick up if someone's genuine or not. But I mean, it hasn't always stuck to me, but I do think that I'm a good judge of character based off first impressions.
Okay, that's good. Now, anything from childhood. So the only person who really had a supernatural power was Mr. Joe Hendry, who is a colleague of mine. And he said when he was a child, he used to believe that because he would hold his hand near his face and he couldn't see beyond his hand, that people also couldn't see him. And he was convinced. The fact that he was willing to say that on my podcast made me fall in love with him.
Oh my God, I love that. I wish I had a cool belief like that.
Well, he's crazy. So I truly believe he believed that. So
I used to try, and you know that movie Matilda?
oh yes.
You know how like she'd like stare at stuff and it'd move? Like I think we did, I don't know if you did it, but I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Where you'd like stare at like a glass of water and you're like, oh, it's gonna break. So like I tried desperately but never got it.
So you exercised your ability to have supernatural powers, but they didn't come
Yet.
yet. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Keep going, girl. I believe in you. Do you believe in ghosts? And if you do you have a story?
I do. Yes.
Yay.
Yes. I have another cool story actually. Oh God, speaking about my dad again. This honestly, like, oh, I mean, I always believed, but this just changed my belief, and now I'm just too sure.
Oh.
So when my dad died, like I said, he had really aggressive cancer, and it was really horrible. At the end, he was connected to every tube and machine you could imagine. And he fought for so long, and it was just a long, horrible, horrible end. And I, as you do when your parent passes away, it's fucking hard. Part of my French.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. Swear as much as you want.
I remember just any thought, if I thought of him, I'd get upset, like instantly upset, like everything like that, seeing a photo, get upset. It's just what happened. Of
course.
I remember that I had this dream, and it was like a week after he'd passed away. And in my dream, he like came up to me, and he was like, looked really good and like himself, because he wasn't all gaunt and sick like I saw him when he passed. And he looked healthy again, and he like hugged me, and he was like, look, he's like, I've got my shoes. He's like, I can finally wear my shoes. And I was like looking down, and he had like these red shoes on, and he was like, look, they fit. And he's like, how? And he was like so happy. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I couldn't wear my shoes. Look at my shoes. And I just like, it was the most random dream, but I woke up and I felt like this weird, I was like peace, like happy, warm feeling. And I was like, whoa, that's weird. Because usually I think of him and cry,
Of course.
And I woke up and felt like just this eerie peace. I like woke up like really calm and really happy, and I felt really good. And I went to my grandmother's house 2 days, and it was so real. It was like, I have very vivid dreams with this. Like I felt him like hug me, like it was bizarre. And I went to my grandmother's house, who's his mother, 2 days afterwards, and it was her son, who passed away. So like, God forbid, I can't imagine what it was like for her. And I was helping her pack up all these things, and she's like, oh, can you help me with all these? And I'm like, what are they? And she's like, oh, your dad was obsessed with buying shoes, but he couldn't wear them because of the chemo and everything made him swell. And she goes, I've got all these shoes, like 20 pairs of shoes that are brand new, and he's never been able to wear them. And he used to just talk about how he wanted to wear them. And I was like, and I like in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I was like, because I'd never heard of it. I didn't even know he bought shoes, no idea. And I like just like instantly was crying. I was like, Natty, like he came to me like 2 nights ago, and he's passed on, and was all he wanted to show me was that he was wearing his shoes, that he could finally wear his shoes. And that to me, like, I just was like, there was too much of a coincidence, and everything just was so like, gosh, it makes me happy, because I'm like, that's proof for me. That is all I needed to know. And it's so silly because it's about shoes, but it just changed how I think.
First of all, that is so beautiful, and I'm so glad he came to you and gave you that kind of closure. But I think it's those types of dreams that are very specific, that make no sense to you whatsoever, because a lot of people are like, well, dreaming is just sensory output. But when you have dreams that make absolutely no sense to you, that is really when they are messages from spirit and the other side. So that's so like the chills I had the entire time you were telling me that story. I'm so glad your dad can wear shoes again. That's so exciting.
I know. It's nice though, because it makes me think like happy thoughts about like, passing on and everything. But it's like what you said too, like everyone's like, oh, dreams are a reflection of like an internal monologue or this or that. I'm like, yeah, I agree, or your subconscious. But I'm telling you right now, I never once in my life thought about my dad and shoes.
No.
I had no idea he had those there. So it was just like such a cool moment. So it was nice for my grandmother too, because she like knew as well,
Yeah. Oh, and I bet your grandma had all the chills and all the feels for that as well.
Yeah, it was super nice. Yeah.
Now, I believe that we are all born intuitive and we're all born psychic. It's just a matter if you tune into it as an adult and you allow the veil to be thinned. Because as children, a lot of us have those experiences where you think you saw a ghost or something weird happen, and then your parents mute it and they go, no, you're just overactive imagination.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of my what we call like spiritual downloads messages through music. So I wonder if you get this, because I'll just start singing a song and it's not like I just heard it on the radio or it was on a commercial, and then I'll think to myself, what the fuck are the lyrics of that song? And then I'll look up the spiritual meaning or just the meaning of the song, period, and it will always kind of resonate with what's going on in my life. So I wonder if you have those kind of experiences as well.
That's cool. It's funny because I'm constantly humming and singing that I've never thought about if it had a deeper meaning. So
Yeah.
hearing you say it today is making me be like, oh my God, I can't wait till I hum something again. And then I'm going to take a deeper thought into it because I'm constantly
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. And it's usually like, what are you thinking about kind of unconsciously? Like, let's say you're running on the treadmill, but you're thinking about what you want your next wrestling entrance to look like, what moves you kind of want to do. And then you start singing a song completely absent to anything around you. And then you're going, what the fuck?
That's really cool. Well, I'm so glad you told me that because now I'm going to think about it next time it happens for sure.
And I feel people that are like really connected to music, that's usually a way that spirit is like, hey, the universe is trying to tell you something. Excuse me. And it's usually with like older songs because that's what differentiates it for me. Like if it's something that, you've seen on TikTok thousands of times or is all over the charts right now, chances are you hear it. But like if it's June and all of a sudden you're like, it's beginning to look a lot like Chris, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's so true. I never thought about that. That's really cool. Yeah, no, I'm 100%. Next time this happens, I need to like be like, oh, what does it mean?
And then text me, be like, oh, it happened.
Yeah, I'll be like, it happened. Yeah.
Okay. Have you shit, pissed, or had something that's delicate pop out in the ring?
God, do you know touch wood? I'm sitting in front of a big wooden thing right now. I'm grabbing on for dear life. I haven't.
Good. I'm glad.
I'm hoping not. I've been blessed so far that nothing.
So you're saying that you've never took a front bump and a little pee hasn't come out?
I can't say that. The closest thing that I've had to happen that was slightly dangerous was I
Yes.
do have a pair. I do have some tartars that are larger than they're larger than I was born into the earth with, and I got gear and it wasn't super fitted, and I always wear pasties and got them under. But I do remember there was like a moment where it kind of like slid out because it was too small for these boys. And I remember someone yelled out like, I can see your pasty. And I was like, yeah, good. Because I was like, it's not my nipple, it's fine. So, but that's like the closest incident I've ever had.
Well, that completely counts, first of all. The reason it wasn't embarrassing is because you were smart enough and had the foresight to have a pasty on. So
that's right, exactly. Watch me tonight. I'm about to go to training. I'll probably pee my pants in the ring and be like, it happened.
It was Taylor Wilde's fault.
It was you. You did it.
Well, I feel like it's a real coming of age moment in wrestling. You got to pee a little bit. You
got to pee a little.
It happens. Whatever. You're too young. That's the problem.
Oh, when it happens, I'll be like, guys, it was my coming of age moment.
I am now a veteran.
Yeah, right. I hope it's just worth it, like on a big bump. So.
No, I want you to have the longest running career where you've never had any of this. That's
I hope so. Yeah.
Do you have a professional wrestling pet peeve?
I think that for me, the most important part is telling the story. And I think the only way I could say that it was a peeve, if anything, is that everyone can do some awesome shit. And I just think wrestling's cool. Like wrestling moves are cool. There's like some amazing athletes out there that can do some incredible stuff that I certainly can't do. And it's super admirable. But I feel like if you do too much of it and it doesn't make sense to telling the story, it kind of takes away from it. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. I always think like, hell, like you can do some amazing stuff, but if you're telling a really good story and do a really good back elbow, it's, it can have the same goal. You don't have to do a million things. And I completely agree. And it allows for the match where people want to do a million things and high flying crazy things to have their moment. And then you're giving them variety. Yes, exactly. And I also think I think like doing too many things stacked on top of each other takes away the credibility. Like it's kind of like you've done this and then you did this and then you did this. And I'm like, well, the first thing mustn't have been that good if you had to do that and that straight after it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. That's the only thing I think psychology wise, I'm a big person with I'm big on the psychology and telling the story, and I enjoy it more when it makes sense, even if it requires less moves, No, and that's the performer in you, and that's what makes sense, and that will give you a long career as well. Yeah. Good answer. Thank you. This is probably a hard one, but what or who is your favorite band or artist? Oh, it's so hard. I know. There's so many, but I will say Paramore's had the biggest influence on me as a performer itself, just because that band itself and being fronted by a woman made me want to be a singer.
Oh, I love
So,
that.
I mean, I always love, like, there's so many, like, Chili Peppers is like Queen, like, like
Yeah.
bloody Fall Out Boy. Like, there's so many people that I love, especially old school rock, Motley Crue. Oh my gosh. But I think Paramore's like who I looked at as a little girl and was like, oh, I can be like her, I can do that, and that's really cool. And I think because of that, like, I love Paramore so much, and I love singing all of their songs. And there's a saying in music, it's called the tessitura, and it's the vocal range in which your voice is at its best.
Okay.
So I sing in the same tessitura, like I have the same tessitura as what she does. So I find all the stuff that she sings, I love singing, and I sound my best singing them. So I love their old stuff. Their new stuff's cool. I just saw them live in Vegas, and I
no way.
cried seeing a band until then. So
and let's talk about the glow up that Hayley Williams is having with age. Oh my God.
Seriously. I was like, she's an age. She's like you.
But I actually think she's more in her element, and that's kind of where I feel like this. I'm not aging because I feel like I'm most in my power. I'm being my most authentic. And she's up there, she's dancing and she's sexy and she's not holding back. Whereas I feel like she was young and she was growing up in front of us all in her formative years. And that's really hard because I can be a testament to that. But yeah, she looks like she's just giving her up there, and I love it.
Oh yeah, she's like living her best life. And like you said too, I feel like there's this weird stigma about age and getting older, especially for women. And I'm like, man, I'm like what you said, I'm more in my own skin, and I'm enjoying life the older I get, because you know who you are and you know what you don't put up with anymore. And it's just, I feel like it's funny how everyone's clinging on to like, oh my God, I want to stay young. I'm like, dude, I don't. I mean, I can't wait to be 50 and with 25 years more knowledge, and just I feel like there's so much power in getting older and just embracing it.
And for me, you couldn't pay me to go back to my 20s. There's nothing I would want to do less.
Yeah, right?
Besides a little bit of collagen, that person can stay in her 20s. But I think it's us as a community of women as well, propping each other up, because who made these norms about age was men, usually these beauty standards that we associate with age. And it's us that are going, you know what, fuck it. We are in control, and we are having incredibly beautiful long careers in the entertainment industry, and it's becoming ageless. And it's because of people like yourself and like me who are like, fuck it, I get better with age.
Yeah, literally. We're like cheese.
Yes.
Or wine.
Okay. Exactly. We are fine wine.
Yes, I know. I love that I went to cheese. God, who does that?
And cheese. We are cheese. Okay, name a movie that changed your life.
Oh, probably The Green Mile.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. And I remember being so young and watching it, and the emotional effect it had on me at such an emotionally immature age.
Sure.
That I feel like that movie itself just was like so beautiful, and it has so many lessons, like how not to judge like a book by its cover, and the importance of kindness, and like just like it was such a beautiful story, such an amazing movie. And I think that I remember watching that younger and just learning a lot from it, and it was kind of character building, if that makes sense.
No, that's a great one. No one said that one, so excellent. Who has been or who was your most embarrassing crush of all time?
Oh my God, it's so weird.
Yes, we got a story. Yes.
It's not even a human.
Okay, I love where we're going.
I don't know what's wrong with me, but it's Brock from Pokemon.
He doesn't even have eyeballs.
I don't know why. I just remember being little and being like, I want to date this cartoon. He's hot. This drawing, I like it. I think I need to see like a psychologist and be like, why did I have a crush on like an anime drawing?
This is definitely my favorite interview of the season so far.
Oh, thank you. I love talking to you. I'm like, do we just become best friends?
You're in Orlando, right? I'll come hang.
Yeah,
It's
where are
fine.
you?
I'm in Toronto.
Just walk over.
Just it's not fun. I'm on the road once a month with Impact.
Yeah.
And my schedule is crazy, but you know what? I am at a place in my life where I have enough financial freedom and enough freedom in my schedule that, girl, like, you got a room, I'm coming.
Oh my God, I have a room. I have a spare room. You gotta come stay. We gotta hang out.
I'll roll up and I'll be like, Danielle, it's Monday. Can I come over?
Yes, and I'll be like, yes, we're watching Pokemon.
And I love Shotzi, and I've never met Scarlett, but I feel like we're all the same. So,
Oh yeah, you'd love her too. She's like, they're two of the best humans in the entire world. So, and if you love Shotzi, you love Scarlett.
perfect. Okay. Where can our listeners find you before we go off the deep end?
Find me like on
On social media? Yeah, no. What is your address?
what's my this is my social security number, and you can find me on Instagram. I'm Danny _LXO.
You know, that blows my fucking mind because you have a massive following on Instagram. So for you to just be like, nah.
I just don't like social. I mean, it's a perception of what you want the world to see, and it's a business tool and it's a marketing tool and so on and so forth. But I feel like when you meet people in real life, it's very different.
No, it is. It's a necessary evil. And I think what people need to really realize is, for most of us, it is a marketing tool. We are perpetuating an image of ourselves that does not necessarily match who we are. And for good reason. There's like a protective measure in that as well.
Definitely. I have so many people when they meet me, they're like, "Oh, you seem so different on the internet." I was like, "So it's the internet. It's not me. It's pictures of me."
You don't walk around in bandage dresses with your tits out and high heels?
Yeah. Why are you in clothes?
I knew something was different, but I like.
Yeah.
Okay, last one, and I will free you from my clutches.
Never let me go.
Never let me go. Finish this lyric. I should be over all the butterflies.
I'm into you.
Yay!
That was a test. Imagine if I fucked up and you're like, you don't like Paramore.
Paramore bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, the whole point in Wilde On's Finish This Lyric was one of those things that I was trying to push myself out of my comfort zone. Unless you feel uncomfortable, you're not growing. So every week, every Wednesday, when we get Wilde On Wednesdays, I do a Finish the Lyric because it brings me great joy. I love music, but I am literally so incapable of singing. And I even did it with one of my idols, Lars Fredriksson, a little musician from a band called Rancid. And I can't say not how embarrassing that was for me, because I seldom feel embarrassment, but how tone deaf and off key my Paramore was in respect to Harley Cameron's version. And I don't even think she was trying, but you know what? We cannot do all the things, and I'm only doing my best here. So thank you for listening to this week's episode of Wilde On. I hope you are enjoying our weekly content. I would not be able to do this podcast without my right-hand woman, my queen, my producer and editor, Rochelle Douris, my marketing specialist, Madison Golshani. Thank you. I love you, ladies. And until next week, keep calm and Wilde On. Blessed be.